Bellevue. How you doing? Okay, okay. So I'm Reverend Francis, and isn't it nice to get affirmed just for being yourself? So I'm going to be your presider again, as Reverend Marlin has taken some well-deserved holiday R&R. Yeah. So I noticed when I asked how are y'all doing, there were different levels of reaction. There was the Yahoo level, there was the good, and there was the and actually that's perfect because that reflects the spectrum of our emotional mental states. Actually, even though I sound like I'm Yahoo, there's a lot of me that's so-so right now because I'm processing change and loss from the Northern California fires. In the early 90s, I lived in Magalia, and I worked in Paradise because I was the spiritual leader of the Paradise Church of Religious Science, which eventually became to be known as Paradise Center for Spiritual Living. So everything that I knew of is no longer. And so all I have is my memories. And one of the tools in my toolbox that I utilize to deal with deep change and loss is really appropriate to this month's theme, which is what? Gratitude. Exactly. So, gratitude and thanksgiving. Practice daily, practice hourly, are incredibly wonderful transformational and healing tools, especially those small things. So all those things that you take for granted, all the little manini in life, all the little stuff in life that you take for granted, all the big things that you take for granted, don't do that. Okay? Instead, do gratitude. Practice thanksgiving hourly, daily. And as a way of emphasizing this whole idea, we are blessed today with someone that you all know, most of you know anyway, and he's going to share more in regards to gratitude. And what's really special again is once again we have the opportunity to experience the divine speaking through a different perspective. The many voices expressed, but all of the one. And so our speaker is Imam Jamal Rahman, and he has a lengthy bio. I'm going to read you every single thing. No. So he is a popular speaker on Islam, Sufi spirituality, and interfaith relations. Many of you know him because of his collaboration with the Interfaith Amigos. I know he's got 7 books on that table, but I do believe he's authored even more than that. And he is the co-founder of the Interfaith Community Sanctuary and adjunct faculty at Seattle University. So I bet you know Bishop Donaldson. Yes, indeed. So here's something that caught my eye. His passion lies in interfaith community building. He remains rooted in Islamic traditions and cultivates a spaciousness by being open to the beauty and wisdom of other faiths. By understanding other paths, Imam Jamal feels that he becomes a better Muslim. So my declaration today is that by listening to Reverend Imam Jamal, today we become better New Thought folks. So let us go to our reading today, which is from, hey, what? Okay, thanks. That's right. How Practicing Gratitude Can Make You Happier. And that's by Robert Iman. Pulitzer Prize-winning poet Edward Arlington Robinson wrote that there are 2 kinds of gratitude. The sudden kind we feel for what we take, the larger kind we feel for what we give. Gratitude with a small g is the gratitude we feel for the benefits we have been provided, for what we get from others. Gratitude with a capital G, on the other hand, is gratitude for the contribution that we make. It is the giving of thanksgiving. This illustrates a profound truth about gratitude. When we give the gift of gratitude with the right spirit, genuinely from our heart, we get as much or more in return for giving the thanks as the receiver gets from receiving it. When we are truly grateful, we are led to experience life situations in ways that call forth from us an openness to engage with the world in order to share and increase the very goodness that we have received. It is the feeling of connection with humanity emerging from a sense of wonder and joy that participating in an intricate network of existence brings. Thank you, Robert. Okay, and we have our affirmation for today. I'm going to read that and then ask you to join me afterwards. Continually giving thanks, I acknowledge all the blessings life has given me. I clearly see all there is to be grateful for in life, and my world expands as I move into harmonious relationship with the good in everyone and everything. I am grateful that I can think, that I have free will to use my thoughts to change my life as I choose. And so it is. So please, stand with me. Continually giving thanks, I acknowledge all the blessings life has given me. I clearly see all there is to be grateful for in my life, and my world expands as I move into harmonious relationship with the good in everyone and everything. I am grateful that I can think, and that I have free will to use my thoughts to change my life as I choose, and so it is.
My dear friends, what a sincere joy it is to be here once again. I've been here so many times. I always say the same thing. I've been coming here since my hair was black. And I'll keep on coming even though my hair falls out. My friends, today I want to give you just a few aspects of gratitude from the Sufi perspective. Just a few words about Sufism, very highly misunderstood. Most people think, or many people think, that Sufism is a denomination within Islam. Like in Christianity, you have Catholics and Protestants. In Islam, we have Sunni and Shia. Sufism is simply an aspiration to live the spirit of the Islamic tradition. Could be Sunni or Shia. It is not a denomination. So you know Rumi, for example, 13th century Rumi, he was a Sunni, but people call him a Sufi because he really believed in living the spirit of the tradition. Conservative Muslims accuse Sufis of being overly flexible. And Sufis always reply with a smile and a wonderful insight, "Blessed are the flexible, for they will never be bent out of shape." My friends, the Quran, that's the holy book of Muslims, says that, if you're grateful, this really enriches and profits your own soul. It nourishes your soul. Another verse in the Quran says, all that exists in the heavens and the earth extols the limitless glory of God. When we are grateful, it connects with a universal vibration. And we also feel and become exalted. We become connected to a primary quality of God, to a divine quality. The key is, can I practice gratitude at all times? That's the key. So here's a very classic Islamic stories. conveyed through this fictional character called the mullah. Timeless, placeless, always making fun of himself. So through a fictional character, many profound truths are conveyed. This is about gratitude. It has many levels of meaning. In fact, I've said it many times in this forum here. But because it has many levels, it's okay. I can say it one more time. The mullah has lost his donkey. That's a big deal in that part of the world. The entire village tries to find the donkey. The donkey is lost forever. They come to give mullah the bad news. Where's the mullah? He's in the town square on his knees saying, Allah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful. They say, mullah, you haven't heard the bad news. Your donkey is lost forever. So I know, but I'm so grateful. Because imagine what could have happened to me if I was on the donkey. So one level of meaning is, even in times of affliction, if I'm expressing gratitude, I'm giving thanks for unknown blessings already on their way. Just be with that. Practice of gratitude at all times. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, at one time he said, have you noticed that a bird, when it sips water, it tilts its neck backwards? Not only for the water to flow down, but also for praise and gratitude to flow heavenward. So on the Sufi path, it is said that life begins. Life really commences. It starts when I become a seeker. We are all seekers. But we lead a very robotic life in a hypnotic way. We are stuck in patterns. We're not quite a seeker. Rumi, in fact, says there are two veils, health and wealth, that come in the way. When my health is good, those are my loved ones. Or I have wealth, not just money, but also emotional security. All this talk about spiritual practices of gratitude, polishing the heart, prayers, is not only irrelevant, very inconvenient. Till inevitably, one of those veils will shatter. Death of parents, inevitable. Cancer, divorce, loss of security. Then finally, deeper questions. The Quran has this verse saying, say, my life, my living, my prayers, my sacrifice are all for you. Sooner or later, we'll turn in that direction. And we begin to feel this urge from within, this bubbling from within. I'm tired, Rumi says, I'm tired of living with cowards. I want to live with lions. I want to sing like birds sing. I want to sing like birds sing, not worrying about who hears or what they think. That wonderful poet Tagore, the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in literature, he says, I have been day and night stringing and unstringing my instruments, singing and unstringing my instruments, but the song I came here to sing remains unsung. But you see, because we're unmindful, it requires a crisis to awaken us and make us a seeker. That 14th century Hafiz says, this is a very important moment. And for him it was, something missing in my heart tonight. Something missing in my heart tonight has made my eyes so soft, my voice so tender, my need for God absolutely clear. So the point of all of this is, what is the moment, or what was the moment, or moments on the timeline of your life that made you turn in a different direction? For me, it was the sudden death of both my parents in the space of 20 days that awakened me. As Muslims say, made me move from a knowledge of the tongue to a knowledge of the heart. When we realize, as Rumi says, wow, there is traffic and trade in those mysterious realms. What was it for you? Because those are sacred moments. Those are beautiful times, no matter how painful. Could be joyous also. Be grateful for those moments. So just spend a moment thinking on my timeline of my life. What was it? Because that is when I really start living. That's when my life really starts. That's when all the religions say, that's why you're here. For two main reasons. To become a better human being, to become more Christ-like, Buddha-like, Allah-like, Elohim-like, Krishna-like. That's number one. And secondly, to be of service. To become a lamp, a lifeboat, or a ladder, as Rumi says. So can I be grateful for that awakening, for that aspiration to want to become more Christ-like? Again, as the mystics say, I'll quote Rumi again. This is the key, the first half. Marry your soul. Marry your soul. That wedding is the way. Align your personality, which is nothing more than a bundle of conditioned reactions to life's circumstances. Nothing more than a bundle of conditioned reactions to life's circumstances, to your higher self, to your Christ nature, Allah nature, Elohim nature. Requires work, exertion. That's the meaning of jihad, the most misunderstood word. Jihad literally means effort, exertion, work. So I am grateful for spiritual practices. For example, to marry my soul, to awaken to my divine spark. For me, I learned the most about becoming who I am by moving through the layers of my personality to connect with who I really am. In the traditions, they say, can you do the work of removing the masks that you wear? Because your real face is so beautiful. If only you knew. Become authentic. But to become authentic, you have to have a spiritual practice. This is in common many traditions. To shine the light of compassionate awareness on yourself. Self-witnessing, self-reflection. But with what? With mercy and compassion. Prophet Muhammad described it this way. He said, know thyself, and you shall know thy sustainer. The divine spark within you. Die before you die, he said. Die to all that is false before you die a physical death. So I love the stories of the mullah. Timeless, placeless, funny, but has deep meanings. So here's a story of the mullah. Again, if you've heard it, it's okay. It has many levels of meaning. The mullah on a moonlit night is having his constitutional walk. He peers into the well. He is stunned, astonished, because the moon has fallen into the well. Sister Moon, he exclaims, fear not. He rushes home, gets a rope and a hook. He flings it down. He catches something. He heaves and pulls, and he falls on his back. And he sees the moon restored to its proper domain. And he says, thank God I came along. So it's a story about reflection about one's ego. The ego has an exaggerated opinion about itself. So just be with that. Can I be grateful for this awareness through compassionate self-reflection? It is me, but it's not the real me. The Hindus say we are like two birds on the branch of a tree. One bird is pecking away at the fruit. The fruit could be sweet, the fruit could be bitter. That's life. But I'm also the other bird, just compassionately witnessing, shining the light of awareness, compassionate awareness, which through awareness, self-witnessing, begins to diminish my shadows. What are my excuses? Another mullah story. Someone knocks at the mullah's door. Oh, can I borrow your donkey? That's done in that part of the world. The mullah doesn't want to give the donkey, so he makes up an excuse. Oh, brother, if you'd only come 5 minutes ago, another neighbor just borrowed it. He lied. Unfortunately, just at that time, the donkey in the stable begins to bray. Neighbor says, but I hear your donkey. The mullah's caught. What does it do? Pretends to be angry. Who will you believe? Me or the donkey? And the excuses continue getting complicated. Now that I know the disposition of your mind, I could never in any case have lent my donkey to somebody with your mental disposition. Our excuses become more creative and more complicated. So ask yourself, what are my excuses? Can I be grateful that I'm becoming aware of my excuses? The compassionate light of awareness will begin to diminish them. The story that I and my interfaith amigos, Rabbi Ted Falcon, Pastor Don McKenzie, we love to share wherever we go, we travel all over the country, is the one about, am I aware of my stuckness, being stuck in my patterns, stuck in my patterns of behavior? I'd be surprised you haven't heard this because we say it every time we come here. The mullah goes to work, lunchtime, opens his lunch pail box. What does he find? Anybody know? A cheese sandwich. Second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, there's always a lousy cheese sandwich. 10th day, I'm getting sick and tired of this lousy cheese sandwich. His puzzled co-worker said, Mullah, why don't you ask your wife, be persuasive, to make you a different kind of sandwich? I'm not married. Who makes them? I do. So become aware, be grateful that I am getting out of this stuck pattern through my awareness. Okay, slavish dependence on authorities and experts. I mostly read New York Times, Washington Post, Christian Science Monitor, maybe Seattle Times. I am slavishly dependent on those opinions. That forms my worldview. If I'm honest. So ask yourself, are you aware to what and who you are slavishly dependent? It becomes such that I can't listen to others, understand their point of view. The mullah is deathly ill. The wife is wailing, crying, lamenting. And now in comes the authority, the expert, the pundit, the allopathic doctor, who examines the mullah at length, turns to the wife of the mullah and says, "Oh, honorable wife of the mullah, only Allah is immortal. Your husband is dead. His soul has flown to the bosom of God." But the mullah is not dead. He's feebly saying, "I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive." What does the wife say? "Quiet, don't argue with the doctor." I am enslaved to my pundits and authorities. Do I listen to my inner teacher? Prophet Muhammad said, listen to the elders, listen to the clerics, he said actually, or those who call themselves the priests or clerics, because Islam actually in theory doesn't have ordained clerics. He says, listen to those who call themselves clerics, but always, I think calls them religious judges. But he says, first, all and always, and he would repeat it, consult your heart, consult your heart, consult your heart. 3 times he would repeat every time. Consult your heart, consult your heart, consult your heart. Okay, let me move on. as part of becoming a better human being, I have to open my heart. There are many ways: purification, polishing the heart, it reflects the face of Allah. But the most important step is, can I embrace not only my 10,000 joys of life, but also my 10,000 sorrows of life, my difficult feelings, anger, fear, sadness, jealousy. The Quran says all feelings are from God, and Sufis say that means all feelings are sacred. If they have an edge, it's only because they're separated from us. It is begging to be acknowledged, begging to be healed, begging to be, to use the word of Carl Jung, begging to be kissed, begging to be integrated. That is why all great sages have said these difficult feelings, difficult times, they have lessons to teach you. You know that. The worst thing is to tell somebody it has lessons to teach you when they're feeling that. Let it emerge from within. That's why Rumi has his poem, many people know it by heart, The Guest House. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, greet them at the door laughing. Each one has been sent as a guide from beyond. But the key is this: don't run towards pain and suffering. I repeat, don't run towards pain and suffering. Just don't run away from it when it happens in your life. Acknowledge it, heal it, integrate it. It's begging to be integrated. If it's acknowledged, healed, and integrated, anger becomes transformed into enthusiasm, vigor, fear into mindfulness. I love Rumi's wonderful verse. He says, this is hard work. This is hard work. He says, take a pickaxe. Take a pickaxe and break open your stony heart. Allow your heart to break. Take a pickaxe and break open your stony heart. The heart's matrix is glutted with rubies. The heart's matrix is glutted with rubies. Springs of laughter are buried in your chest. So yes, be grateful for the practices to break the heart open. In Sufism, there's a practice called sacred holding. Hold that feeling with love as you hold a loved one. I'm looking at the time. Let me move on quickly. So can I also be grateful for, once I've realized I want to become more Christ-like, I want to be of service. I really want to be a lamp, a lifeboat, a ladder, and it really nourishes my soul. I'm grateful for that. Tagore says, I slept and dreamt life was joy. I slept and dreamt life was joy. I awoke and found life was service. I served and behold, lo, service was joy. Why should I be grateful for service? The Sufis have an explanation. They say, at the time of your death, you'll have to leave your titles and your wealth at the palace. Yes, family and friends are beautiful, but they can only accompany you as far as the grave. Beyond that, what takes you further are your, what Quran calls, righteous deeds. Your acts of service. That's why Prophet Muhammad had this beautiful saying. He said, please, do good deeds according to your capacity. God never tires of giving rewards unless you tire of doing good deeds. The good deeds, says Prophet Muhammad, most loved by God, are the ones that are done regularly, no matter how small they are. The good deeds most loved by God are the ones that are done regularly, no matter how small they are. When Rumi read this, he exclaimed, from a blind man, 2 drops of light are enough. But let me tell you the real reason Sufis say, why you need to be grateful if you are serving people who are really suffering, really suffering. The migrant caravan, the homeless, the Muslim refugee, the other, miserable, marginalized, hopeless, helpless. Why am I grateful to serve them? And many of you, I know some of you here, you go out of your way to serve others. You travel to different places to serve. There's a verse in the Quran that says, before humanity was sent down to earth, God gathered the souls of all of humanity and lovingly said, am I not your sustainer? And we cried out, yes, 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 we testify, and we are so excited to hear God's voice. Now the Sufis take it a step further, borrowing from African mythology, that before God sent unborn humanity down to earth, God said, come here, I want to show you this tree, a huge, large cosmic tree, magical. And the limbs of the trees were packages of different size. Small packages, medium packages, large packages. This is the verse in the Quran that says, Allah says, of everything we have created opposites. Of everything that we have created opposites, so you might know only God is one. Yes, there is suffering in this world. Rumi says, God turns you from one feeling to the other and teaches by means of opposites, so you might have 2 wings to fly, not one. Yes, there is suffering. And God says to the unborn humanity, these are packages of suffering. There will be suffering in your life, different sizes, small, medium, large. Take anyone you want. Then descend to earth. And the nobler souls among us took voluntarily those larger packages. So we wouldn't suffer that much as they came down to earth. Just be with that story when people are suffering in ways you can't even imagine. Be grateful, say the Sufis, that they volunteered to take those large packages for your sake. Just be with that story. Okay, I'll move on much faster now. Can I be grateful for the present moment? You know the most common story? Certainly in Buddhism, also Sufism, different traditions. Let me take the Buddhist stance. A monk has a toothache. I don't know if you've ever had toothaches. I've had toothache twice in my life. Life feels miserable. And the monk says, if only this toothache went away, I'd be so happy. I know that's true. So he turns to each one of us and says, do you have a toothache? 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 Why aren't you happy? It's because you don't realize this very moment is a non-toothache moment. Can I be grateful in my life for those non-toothache moments right now? Can I be grateful for what I have in my life? How is it I don't appreciate what I have until there's danger of me losing that? Whether it's a thing or a relationship, I take it for granted. This is the biggest curse, the traditions say, for humanity. We take things for granted until we're about to lose them. A mullah story, he sees this young man with a knapsack filled with things on his back, and he's going in a very determined way. Young man, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to find happiness. I've never been happy. I'm in search of happiness. What does the mullah do? He grabs the knapsack and just runs off with it. And this man runs after him. Stop, that's all my world's belongings. Mullah's strong. He goes quite far. The man is very unhappy. They turn a corner, and just as he turns the corner, the mullah gives the knapsack back and says, before you become angry, because the man says, Oh my God, I'm so happy I found my things back. I got my things back. Mullah says, you always had these things with you before. How come you never appreciated before? Because you were not present with them. Grateful for nature. You can learn everything from nature. Everything. Sufis say the world's most holy manuscript really is nature. The Quran says repeatedly, the signs of God in nature. There's a very beautiful verse from the Quran that says the creation of the heavens and the earth is a greater matter than the creation of man, of humanity. But man understands not. We can learn anything we want to just by observing nature. Unconditional love. There's a wonderful verse from Hafiz who says, I hope some of you know it by heart because I hear it all the time. The earth would die. The earth would die if the sun stopped kissing her. But even after all this time, the sun never tells the earth, hey, you owe me. Hafiz says, look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the entire sky. It's about unconditional love. Or Rumi who says, grass agrees to die and rise up again and again and again so we can receive a little of the animal's enthusiasm. Diversity. The branches of the tree are swaying differently in the wind. The branches are swaying differently in the wind, but they're connected at the roots. It's all one. For those who believe very much their religion is better than the others, the Sufis ask you to meditate on this metaphor. All the rivers flow into the ocean. All the rivers flow into the ocean. Jamal, you might be following one river. But please don't mistake the river for the ocean. About inevitability of suffering. Rumi says, have you not noticed that fruits never grow on the trunk of trees? They're perched in the branches because they need to quiver and tremble in the breeze to receive the blush of the beloved. Don't run towards pain and suffering, just don't run away from it. Inevitability of changes. When autumn comes, when the season of autumn comes in your life, Jamal, no leaf is spared because of its beauty. No flower because of its fragrance. It's inevitable. Okay. I keep saying I'll end it, maybe just 1 or 2 points. Gratitude for God. Yeah, I'll make it just 1 point about God. The Quran says about God 2 things. One is Allah is Zahir and Batin, outside of you and inside of you. And the Prophet Muhammad said that God spoke to him in a dream where God said he says, tell humanity. God speaks and says, beloved one, I cannot be contained in the space of the earth. I cannot be contained in the space of the heavens, but I can be contained in the space of the pure, loving heart of my devotee. It's right here. Another verse in the Quran says, Allah says, we are closer to you than your jugular vein. We are closer to you than your jugular vein. I love the real story of Rabia, 8th, 9th century, beloved female saint, you might say, sage. She's passing in the streets of Basra in Iraq, and she hears this very famous spiritual teacher, Islamic teacher, telling his students gathered saying, children, students, God is very compassionate. Just keep on knocking on the door of God. Keep knocking, knocking, knocking. God is so compassionate, one day the door will open. Rabia said to him, brother, when was the door ever closed? And he got up and bows to her. Community, just 1 sentence I'll tell you. Grateful for community. Ruby has this beautiful verse. Please come out of the circle of time and enter the circle of love. A wall standing alone is useless. Add to it other walls, it can support a roof, even a granary. Only when ink joins the pen can the blank paper say something. But most of all, I'm grateful for reminders. The clock is out there saying, Jamal, your time has run out. But I cannot resist one more insight about time. The Quran says, please, please, be grateful in a sense for you becoming mindful about time. Rumi has this verse, travelers, listen, travelers, it is late. Travelers, it is late. Life's sun is going to set. Travelers, it is late. Life's sun is going to set. In the brief moments you have time, please spare no efforts of your wings. Do this work for which you are here. And be grateful for it to become a more complete human being and to be of service to others. The last mullah story is about the mullah who was in London Museum. And here is this very learned professor who says, this is 40,000 years old. Mullah says, excuse me, is 40,004 years old. The guide is annoyed. This is, 100,000 years old. Excuse me, is 100,004 years old. Happens a third time, it's 60,000 years old. Excuse me, is 60,004 years old. Now the guide is really enraged. He says, sir, you have a beard, you have a turban. This tells me you come from the mysterious East. But how can you be so laser precise about those dates? It's simple. I was here 4 years ago. At that time, you mentioned those dates. Which means, one other level of meaning is it's later than you think, literally and metaphorically. Thank you very much. And as you breathe out, just this much. Gentle mindfulness of the breath. God is the breath. God is the breath within the breath. And now, let go of the breath. And this time, please focus on your physical heart. Our heart has been yearning, thirsting, aching to connect with us. If it works for you, take your hand or both hands and touch your heart. Feel your heart. Connect with your heart. Spirit, God, divinity is also the heartbeat within the heartbeat. Feel your heartbeat. Connect with your heartbeat. And now with the heart, listen to this beautiful revelation from God, where God says, beloved one, I cannot be contained in the space of the earth. I cannot be contained in the space of the heavens, but I can be contained in the space of the pure, loving heart of my devotee. Just be with that mystery that the space of the heart is boundless, infinite. Divine heart is inside human heart. The Quran says, to spirit, to God belong the most beautiful names. And this is the secret now. Feelingly, humbly, sincerely plant the vibrations of words into this boundless space. The Sufis suggest words like, I love you, or please help me to love you. Thank you. I am so grateful. And or, please help me. I need help. I surrender to you. Choose words that splash in your heart, but say it again and again and again, no matter how awkward it feels initially, unabashedly. Repeat them with feeling. I love you. Please help me to love you. I am so grateful. Please help me. I need help. I surrender to you. As you keep saying those words, the most magical, divine vibration filled with love, blessings, healing, empowerment is going from your tongue into your mouth, into your throat, deep into your chest, into your heart, into what is called the hidden. Even deeper now, into the hidden of the hidden, amazingly healing us, loving us, empowering us. And now stop saying anything at all, just become very still. I'll count numbers coming into awareness. Number 1, slowly, easily, gently coming into awareness. Number 2, feeling open to a beautiful divine vibration filled with love, blessings, healings. Number 3, feeling so blessed, empowered. Number 4, becoming aware that we are the beloved of the beloved. All is perfectly well, no matter how it seems. And number 5, ever so gently, opening your eyes. Take your time.